This is John, your brother in Christ Jesus, and I'm looking at Isaac here in Genesis chapter 26, verse 18. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. So you see here Isaac digging a well, and he finds water. It's good. He has the fruit of his labor. He has a reward. He has some good thing, but it's taken from him. Right? The people of the land, they lie. Right? They say, hey, that's ours. Right? Or they make an argument. Right? Well, it's our land. Well, you weren't here. Right? Whatever they say. And so they want it. They want to take it. But Isaac did the hard work. But they're going to fight with him. And so what does he do? What is he going to do? They digged another well and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. Right? So we have Esek, we have Sitnah. They're fighting for this well. They're fighting for that well. And Isaac can fight to the bitter end. Right? He could say, no, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. But he lets go. Right? He just digs another well. Instead of going back and forth, continuing to fight, this is what God does for us in our lives. As we believe God, if we have access to God, we dig wells and we get water. We get water. And why? Because as we sing here, it's because we build altars, then we could dig wells. That's one of the songs that we sing at our local congregation. And so we see that, right? Abraham, he built an altar, and Isaac, he continues to worship God, he fears God, and same with Jacob. So we see that these men, they change, they're different than the rest of the people on earth because they have access to God, and that gives them great peace. God shows up, God defends them, God speaks on their behalf, just as he did for Moses, he does for Abraham. Right? So Abraham has this life and this lifestyle where he might even act out of fear, right? And offer his wife, saying, oh yeah, no, she's my sister, please don't kill me for her, right? And then God doesn't like that. God says, no, let them know this is your wife, no one can touch her. He gets his wife back and all his substance back, all his materials, all the camels, all the sheep, the oxen, added to him, right? Not only just his wife back, but he gets more. And then he just continues to increase because he walks with God. He makes God first. He obeys God. Whatever God says, he's going to do. God says, I know Abraham. This is the kind of man he is. He listens to me and he listens to me. So you might have heard the proverb, he who hears speaks constantly. I was thinking of a twist on that, where if he who does not listen hears constantly. Right? And what do I mean by that? If you're not listening, right, you're going to be told from people, right, criticism, right, a flaw that you have, and you're not listening, so you won't change, right? People will say, you always do this. Why do you do that? That's so bothersome. That's so offensive. And if you're listening, you might adjust and say, oh, well, I don't want to offend people. I want to change, and then you'll change. You'll grow. But he who doesn't listen, they're going to hear some complaint from someone about you, and then you're going to hear it again, right? Because you're not listening, you're going to hear. You're going to constantly hear, right? Complaints. People might gossip about you. You might hear rumors. You might hear from your boss. You might hear, right? You're going to hear things, and you get frustrated. and your neck could break, right? Because you're being rebuked, and yeah, that's going to have a toll on you, and you're going to be stubborn and resist. But if you submit, if you hear what they're saying, say, okay, let me change. You're soft, humble, willing to change because you have this goal, right? That God has for you, right? Love one another, be peaceful, represent me, let me avenge, right? You don't have to fight for yourself. You don't have to defend yourself. Because when we do it in the wrong ways. We have motivations. We don't know where they're from. We don't know that it's tied to pride, fear, and lust. So these are idols. These are idols that when God comes into our lives, he destroys them. He lets them fall. So that's why we receive God, because we don't know what's in our heart. We don't know what we do. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we know. We're in darkness. When light comes, when God comes into our lives, he sets us free from having to do what I feel like, from having to, right? Because that's all we get, right? The prompting from my thought and my emotions, but they're all wrong. So what alternative do I have? I just have my thoughts and my feelings, and I act on that, but they're all wrong, right? Because we have a sinful nature, and we're acting off of that. That's our source. Then we're going to have bad endings. We're going to reap bad. We're going to have confusion, right? I meant good. I wanted to increase. I wanted to get. I wanted to make friends. I wanted to, but you don't get the outcome. You don't get the right outcome because that's not the way. You don't know the laws of the universe. You don't know what the law is. You don't know the principles. They're deep. They're hidden. They're secret. God reveals it. Right, through instruction. I know what you want. I know you want good things. I know you want peace. I know you want gain. I know you want success. I know you want these good things. Right? So we see Isaac here. He pursues God, right? And then he gets Rehoboth. He gets room. God makes room for him. Verse 22. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. Right? So he had to let go of Esek, let go of Sitnah. Then he got room. Then he got Rehoboth. Right? He trusted in the Lord. Is life in the Lord? Yes. Right? But fools say, no, life is in Esek. Life is in this well. This is my life. I can't let go. I must fight to the end, right? To the bitter end, tooth and nail, right? Oh, you're treating that as an idol. Oh, that's your God. Oh, you fear lack of resources. Oh, you fear what could happen if they let it go. No, that's wrong by principle. No, they shouldn't do that. Oh, so you're God, right? You enforce justice. Right? You have that power, right? So he doesn't do that. He lets go. Digs another well. They fight for that too. And he passes that test. No, life is in God. It's not in this well. It's not in fighting these people. No, it's God. God's going to provide. Right? God's with me. I have God. I fear God. What's God going to do? God chose to do this? Okay. That's what he's doing. God chose to do this? All right. Well, I can dig another well. I can keep striving. I can keep putting out effort. And he does, and he gets room. Room is made for him because he doesn't go after the well. He doesn't go after the resource directly. Right? He goes after it, but his heart is for God. He goes after God primarily. Right? So he names it Esek, Sitnah, and then Rehoboth. Right? He made room. So if we go after things, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We're not going to have room. It's going to be tight, straight. Our way is not going to be made plain and broad and easy. God makes it easy. Right? You might say, no, it wasn't easy. Look, because he had Esek and Sitnah. He strove, and then they strove. Yeah, but look how he's like a river. He can just be redirected. Oh, not that way. Oh, not that. And room. Right? He finds it because he doesn't leave God. When we fight with people, we're leaving God. Right? When we think, oh, I need to hold on to this, I need this resource, I need this thing, we're leaving God. We're forgetting God because we're treating that thing as God. It's this, I need to fight for it. And God says, why are you fighting? You have me. You have everything. Right? So that's another thought I had about the resources, how it's a funny thing that with God, he says all things are yours. That's very true. Though you might not feel it, though you might not see it, right? Though your bank account number might not be high, you can't believe in that, right? You have to believe in God, right? What does God say? All things are yours, so it is, right? So if there's a rich man who has a lot of money, and he might think he's rich, but God says, no, you think you're rich, but you're poor. You don't have me, you have nothing. Right? So what does that look like? He's going to go to the gas pump, take out his credit card, and then he's going to swipe it. And there should be no problem because I'm a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. I got money. Right? I got things. And the machine says declined. What? But I need this now. Right? Oh, call your credit card company. That's fine. I got another credit card. I'll use this one. Beep, declined. What's going on? Right? You don't have access when you need it. Though you might have a big sum, a big fund, a big storehouse of riches, you can't taste it. You can't eat it. Right? When you need it, you're going to get aggravation, vexation of soul. There's going to be just calamities. There's going to be other things that you spend it on. Right? Your heart's going to be spent on stress, on worry, and things are going to happen that are going to steal from you. Though you rich, though the number says you're rich, right? Your life, right? What happens to you, right? Oh, wait, right? Vexation. Why? Aren't you rich? Aren't I rich? Right? But this happens, loss. Right? Yeah, you amassed a lot of money, but look, there's a hole in your heart, right? Peace is leaking from your heart. So, people spend money to try to patch up the holes in their heart. And they lose all their money. They lose all their peace. Meanwhile, the servant of God, right, they might not have much. But when they need it, right, when they need huge access. Oh, I was freeborn. Right? The other person, the soldier said, oh, with a great sum. Right? This was expensive for me, right? To buy my citizenship as a Roman. And Apostle Paul said, no, God just made me that way. And how convenient that I can say that I'm a Roman, right? And get out of this horrible suffering and pain. Yeah. Oh, you need that? I'll put that here for you. Right? I'll have made you that way. I'll have put things in your experiences and history and life so that, oh, you need this now, you can have it. Right? How much does Peter need to pay to get past the gates? He could bribe I think maybe it was a woman at the gate, right? But it might have cost a lot of money, right? How much would she take to let Peter in? And yet he has John right there who knows her. Oh, that's a convenient setup. Yeah, God says, no, he knows her. She's going to be favorable to him, and you're going to be there when he's there, and you'll have access. You'll be able to get in through the gates, right? So, yeah, you might not have it now. You might have, right, $10 to your name, right? And you need gas to get somewhere, and $10, it might not cover it. And then someone would just come and say, oh, right, help you out. Yeah, I don't know, I have a gas tank. You need this? I don't need this, right? Oh, I can just pour in your gas, right? He's just going to come. Money's just going to drop on your lap, right? These things happen. There's testimonies, right? So, it might not seem like you have everything, but whenever you need it, if God's going to provide, right? Oh, that's hidden, right? Hidden riches. Let me not make it evident. Let me not, right, make it obvious to you, but it's as if you had all the money in the world, right? Because how come you never lack? How come you can always afford whatever? I need this. Oh, if I had the money, oh, where'd that money come from? Right? It appears, right, when you need it. If you have access to everything, if you have no lack, that's like the lifestyle of a rich man. And that's why they amass the riches, so that they can have access. And yet, they don't. They don't. Because true riches are in Jesus Christ. So those that have Jesus, they experience, right? So the worldly, they need to go on vacation, and then they're stressed out on vacation. You know, they can't check in. There's some error with the machine, and the door is locked and jammed. The door handle falls off on their vacation, right? And someone goes into their hotel room while they're off watching, you know, the Tower of Eiffel Tower. They come back and, oh, right, someone stole whatever valuable thing, right, from their room, right? Having a great time, right? Having a good time. Meanwhile, you're not going on vacation. You can't afford to travel to Paris, and yet you have triple, double, right? The amount of peace and joy as someone expects to get, hopes to get from going over there, right? You can engage God, right? And your heart's enlarged, right? Rehoboth, he makes room in your heart, room in your soul to grow, to become a better person, to become more acceptable to God, to hear God more, to know people, to have a bigger heart, so that you can understand people and speak a word to those that are weary, right? You get the tongue of the learned. You get these riches, hidden riches from God, right? You get to be more learned than the ancient, than your teachers, right? You get to know the secret things, the hidden things, right? And so people are chasing after the wrong thing, because they have the wrong motivation, they have the wrong perspective, they have the wrong mindset. We're very poor. We're very poor. God makes us rich. God makes us rich. So living in a rich country, it deceives us. It makes us think we're rich, feel like we're rich, have the attitudes of the rich. And God charges us and points us, saying, oh, you're cursed. You're cursed because you're deceived by your riches, the deceitfulness of riches. Right? Oh, if you would truly be rich, right? He talks to the churches in Revelations, telling them that. Some, they think they're rich. He says, but you're poor. Some, they think they're poor. He says, no. You're rich. Right? Yeah, we get both of that in Revelations. Okay, so Revelations chapter 2. Let me find it before I read it. Okay, I'm at chapter 3. Okay, 17. Because you say, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and know not that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. I counsel you to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that you may be rich, and white raiment, that you may be clothed, and that the shame of your nakedness do not appear. Right? They're naked. They're so poor, they're naked. And spiritually, they don't think so, because right, they think they're righteous, like the Pharisees. They thought they had no sin. He says, okay, right? You need to come to me, but you think you're righteous, so you're not coming to me. Like they think they're rich, so they're not buying gold here. Anoint your eyes with eye salve that you may see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten, right? Are they listening? Can they hear? Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith to the churches. And I'm going to read Philadelphia. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia write these things, saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth, right? Access. You have God, yeah, then he's going to open doors for you. You think you can do that with your money, right? He's going to mock you and say, oh, look, a shut door. Use your money, right? Credit card declined. Right? Oh, I wonder who can open that door. God, right? God can open and shut any and every door. And if he's for you and you're for him, right? Oh, yeah, no amount of money can buy you access to this, but you're going to have access because God will open the doors, right? The doors that money cannot open. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it. For you have a little strength and have kept my word, right? They have a little strength, but they keep his word and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, right? Your enemies. You have your enemies. You have victory in the war. Right? People are trying to pursue with money and with armor and material. And look, God says, no, you get it. Right? To the church of Philadelphia. You get it. Yeah, you have a little strength, but you're strong, right? Because I'm fighting for you. And to know that I have loved you, because you have kept the word of my patience, right? He's repeating it. You've kept my word. You've kept the word of my patience. I also will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Right? He's promising them, I'm going to keep you. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my God. Right? So they still have things to overcome. He's still going to send them challenges, right? And they're supposed to still continue, right? He says, because you have kept the word of my patience, and yet you still have to overcome. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Let me look for the other one here. Maybe it's I was thinking Sardis, but I don't think I'm not seeing that here. Okay, Smyrna. I know your works, chapter 2:9. I know your works in tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. You are rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried. Right? I don't want to go to prison. No, he's going to do it. And he's giving them revelation of the purpose, is so that you may be tried. Okay, I'm going to try you. And you shall have tribulation 10 days. Wow. And that's generous. He's giving them the time frame. 10 days, right? You can know. Right? Daniel was blessed by that when he could look in the books and find the time. Oh, God, it's time. Right? You said 70 years. Time's up. Right? So we know what to expect. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. Faithful unto death. Right? Yeah, to that extent. And here's the promise. I'll give you a crown of life. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. He that overcomes shall not be hurt of the second death. So there you are, right? I know your works and tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. And so, yeah, let's go back. Let's compare. With the other church in Laodicea, because you say I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and know not that you are wretched and miserable and poor, right? He's telling them you're poor. The other one, he says, oh yeah, I know your poverty, but you're rich. So it's what God says. It's what God says. Man says money makes you rich. And so we don't want to be deceived, right? And not know what makes us rich. If God says we're rich, that's good. That's good, right? He that keeps his word. And look at Genesis 28, Esau, right? And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. So Esau married some woman from, I think, from his area, and they were not pleased. His mother and father were displeased. He didn't notice it, right? Because he's not looking at them. He's not trying to please them. He's trying to please himself. So then he gets frustration because he's positioning himself to be envious of his brother, who gets the blessing, gets the birthright, and gets sent out to marry someone else that they approve of. And he's seeing his brother Jacob get blessed, right? Get favor and be spoken well of, being loved and protected, being supported by God. And now he's like, not feeling so good, right? And then now he's considering his ways. Oh, you're not pleased with whom I married? And then what does he do? He doesn't listen to them, right? He thinks, I got an idea. I got another idea, right? So he's not getting it. He's not getting it, right? So if God's not pleased, then what should you do? I have an idea, Nadab and Abihu, right? And you'll be burned, right? So what is it? The proud, the stubborn, the foolish, right? We don't have a good idea, but we say we do, right? Oh, I'll do something else. Don't do it. Because what was wrong was not your idea. It wasn't that you picked a bad idea out of your shoebox of ideas. What was wrong was that you didn't throw away your ideas. What was wrong is that you weren't listening to God and waiting on God. You got to hear from your authorities. And Esau, it says, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then when Esau went to Ishmael, right, why don't you ask Isaac, right? Who should I marry? Right? No, I have another idea. Let me do this. Right? And took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. So he's still not getting, right? Because he doesn't want to listen. He hears himself. Oh, my heart's saying do this. Don't go with it. Right? The problem was that you're listening to yourself. So it's like, oh, Dad, you like this? Well, how about this? How about this? You were supposed to get a clue, and he says, no. And we're supposed to give up and say, okay, what do you like? Right? What do you like? Ask, listen. So that's what we're supposed to do with God. Live a life where you keep his word, because you hear his word, because you're interested, because you care about God, right? You don't care about the world. You don't care about the people. You don't care about the things and the riches. You care about God, and then he'll add that to you, right? He'll give Isaac a well because you're not fighting for what the wells. So here you go, right? If you focused on it, you would have lost it, right? You make God your top priority, then he'll just, that's Matthew 6:33, right? You focus on God, and that's Solomon's life, right? Oh, I know, Solomon, oh, you asked for wisdom to do my will, to be faithful in your position, in your role, in your godly identity. So because you asked for wisdom, yeah, bring in the caravan. Bring it in. Yeah, bring the forklifts in, bring the pallets in. You didn't ask for this, but I'm going to give it to you, right? Other men ask for these things, right? For their enemies and for riches and long life. Yeah, I'll give you this, and bring that too, and I'll give you this too, and that over there, right? So Solomon gets all that because he's focused on doing the will of God. God, this is your people, right? I need to do well with your people. I need to be a good steward of what's been handed down to me, and God rewards that, right? Because you're focused on Him and not, right, the other things that other men would pray for. Oh, how did Solomon get it? I want that too. I want long life. I want my enemies. And that's not how Solomon got it, right? That's not how the men of God got all their things. And they will get it, but not by going after it. By going after God. By making God your one desire. And so people think that's not the way. And God shows over time, no, that is the way. Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. Through Jesus, you have everything. A pure, a sincere desire for God, to please Him, a life surrendered to Him. They get everything. They get everything. God makes room for them. Everyone else in the world, they fight each other. They bleed and they lose, right? They bleed out to death, right? You get Esau, they go from one idea to another idea because they don't go to God. Right? You're in your prison. You're in your own hell of your own making. You're just running around in circles in the prison. You don't cry out to God, you won't get out. Right? Your own desires, you're a slave to them, a slave to Satan. Because he knows, oh, you like the world. This is my world. You like being a slave. He's going to jerk you around. You're going to get choked. Right? And then he's going to just have you bounce from one thing to another. Because you refuse to go to God. Right? The one Savior. There's no other Savior. There's no other name whereby which we can be saved. It's Jesus Christ. And one name and one name alone. Call out to Him. Call out to Him. And if you need help, you can reach out to me in Jesus' name.